Hello everyone, welcome back to my Mod 6 to the Sky playthrough. We're on episode 5 and I've done a bit of off-camera work. So, didn't mean to progress as far as I did without you here, but I kind of got lost in the moment about 4 o'clock in the morning. We've made a couple of things. One of those was the windmill bearing here. Oh, I'm stuck on there. The windmill bearing. What this allows us to do is attach these blocks here, which are sailcloths. If you attach 128 of those, doesn't really matter what pattern you put them in, and right click on this block, it will spin around and generate 8,192 stress units, which allows us to speed up our system a lot more. I also made this press and basin, and this will basically auto-craft our ore pieces into ore chunks. These ore chunks then come from there into our crushing wheels to get turned into crushed ores. These crushed ores can then be washed with our fan in water here, up here into nuggets, and this filter here only allows through the nuggets and doesn't allow the crushed ores through. The fan isn't difficult to make. It's very similar to what we made last episode. Where is it? There it is. So propeller, which is iron plates, which we get from the engineer's hammer, casing, cogwheel and shaft, which we've made before. And basically you want to do that, you want it to go as fast as possible, blowing upwards. If you put a funnel underneath a mechanical belt, one of these belts, conveyor belts, that's the word I'm looking for, it will automatically put them up there. And then what we do is we set the filter to only allow the nuggets through, which then come through into this funnel here, back into our draw system using a controller slave, which acts exactly like a draw controller but without the ability to right click on it. Basically it puts everything into our system. We also made a auto clicker. This auto clicker allows us to auto sieve items. So basically it uses RF depending on the speed, so you can have it at one click every 1,000 ticks, which I believe is about every 50 seconds, and that uses 0 redstone flux, or you can even get one click every 2 ticks, which is 500 RF per second. I found that 6 and 7 is the best one here. I haven't not really using much energy, so I've got it set to 7. But yeah, I've been crushing down our ores as well, crushing down our cobble, our netherack and our endstone using these crushing wheels, which we'll be getting onto later. And you simply just press them in there and it will automatically right click on here, and that grips our items, which I've just been right clicking into our system here, and now you can see the system working. Crushes it down, compacts it down into the ore chunks, which get crushed into the ore pieces, which go into there, and then can I get up here? And you should see nuggets coming through, or if I missed them. Oh, there we are. Then nuggets going through back into our system. Alright. I have also, since last episode, managed to silk touch a piece of pod seal. So we got our mushrooms growing, so we've got infinite mushrooms. And I created another drawer controller here with normal blocks that aren't part of our resource gathering, just so we got maximum storage and like high storage on those, because our 16k storage drive is starting to get full. Okay, so that what do you call it? Auto clicker, by the way. Very easy to make. It's diorite, chorus flour, and a block of redstone. Chorus flours we're getting from sifting our endstone, or crushed endstone. But yeah, what I'm planning to do today is set up an auto sifting system, which is completely automatic using Create. I also want to get an auto crafting system sorted out, so it basically makes life a lot easier. And hopefully if we got enough time, I'd like to get a jetpack going as well, because I keep falling to my death and it's not fun. But yeah, alright, I'll see you in a second. Okay, so I just recorded about 15 minutes worth of content about crafting tables and crafting systems. Words. Okay dokes, so I just recorded about 10-15 minutes worth of video about crafters and setting them up, and it was really dull to watch, so I'm going to try and brute force it and explain it to you like this. So a crafter, it basically auto crafts an item for you. So as you can see here, I've got different recipes that it can do. So it can make quartz enriched iron, for example. It can make the machine casings. I've basically here got everything it needs to craft another crafter. So if I go into our system here and type in crafter, I can craft it even though I haven't got the individual components. Ooh. And there we are. I've got a crafter. To do this, you've got two different types of recipes. The crafter uses patterns here, which are made with glass, redstone and quartz enriched iron. Very simple to make. Uses patterns to learn a recipe. You place it in a crafter by itself, not attached to any machine, and it will craft it as if it was in a crafting table, like so. Or if you put it on top of a machine or pointing into machine, so the line here is into the machine where it would normally take items, it will basically use that machine as a crafting system. So for example here I've got everything that needs to be smelted in that recipe, so the glass, the processors and such. So if I request a processor, let's request glass because I've got loads of processors at the moment. So if I request a stack of glass, it's going to use a stack of sand and chuck it into our furnace here, and that will then smelt. I then got an importer underneath to put it back into our system. So to do this, basically what you need to get set up is a pattern grid, which is made with a regular grid like we made last episode, an advanced processor and one of those patterns. Place it to the side. Try not to place it right next to your crafting grid because otherwise you'll constantly go into that trying to use it as a crafting grid and it won't work. What you also need is a crafter, which are made with quartz enriched iron, advanced processors, construction and destruction cores and a machine casing. They're not difficult to make, but if you notice, the crafter itself requires 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 recipes, and then even then you got another 3 on top of that, and then a 3 for that crafting recipe. So you do a lot of crafting just for one item, which is why a auto crafting system comes in really handy. There's a mod in here called extra storage, which basically gives you upgraded crafters. So a regular crafter here holds 9 crafting recipes, which is alright, but when you start getting lots of crafting recipes in your refined storage system, you start ending up just absolutely rammed with huge walls of crafters, and it becomes a pain. Whereas this crafting recipe for the iron crafter here, which uses iron blocks and improved processors, gives you 3 times as much. These can then be upgraded to gold, which I believe is 45 patterns, then to diamond, which is 63 patterns, so almost a stack worth, and then netherite, which holds 81, and all this increases their crafting speed as well. And then creative crafter, which, yeah, that's a lot. But in any case, so right now we've got a crafting system that can make a crafter and smelt the items for it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to utilize this to make some of the resources that we need for our sifting system a lot quicker. One of those resources is actually going to be mesh for the sieves. So I'm going to need a lot of these netherite meshes. The end part I'm going to have to do on my own because there's no way to craft with a smithing table automatically. I've tried it in the previous playthrough I did and it just didn't work. I'll have a go at it again, see if it does work, but I don't believe it would. So we're going to need to set up a pattern for diamond meshes, then a pattern for iron meshes, then a pattern for flint meshes, then a pattern for string meshes. Yeah. So this is something I went into detail for about 10 minutes when I didn't need to. I'm going to need more string as well. When you've got your crafting recipe, it uses when it's put in, it will use the OR dictionary. So because it sees that flax string used in place of string in the OR dictionary, it puts it in here. Because we're set to exact, it's only going to try and use flax string. What you want to do is take it out of exact to allow it to use any type of string. But what I do is I put my preferred choice in and put exact, because otherwise it uses resources you might want to be keeping, such as blaze rods instead of sticks, which I ran into my last no, playthrough. Okay, so chuck all those in there. I need to get some string, so I'm going to quickly sift, grow some trees and put some. I thought I had string. No, I've obviously used all my string. Right, I'm going to go put some silkworms in some trees and gather a few thousand string. Be back. Okay, so I went and gathered some string. Sorry, I should say. I've got about 1,500 of those. I also added the sieve to our crafting system as well, which meant I added some planks, some sticks, and oak slabs. When you get to a certain point, you'll find you're adding less and less patterns. But what's nice about this, say if I went for a recipe which required planks, and of course I've got planks, let's go for one that requires slabs, and apparently I've got loads of slabs as well. So if I went for a recipe which required something like that, oh, it's not doing it now just to do it to me, but yeah, oh no, it's because they're in my inventory. In any case, when you get a recipe that requires something which you don't have in your inventory or in your refined storage system, you can control click and have it auto craft for you. So if I was to go to crafter, for example, click it or go recipe, see where it's highlighted blue? If I control click, it will automatically make those items. So give it a second and then try and make it again. And then I'd have the items that is auto crafting. It's taken a second to craft them because our system here is very slow. But yeah, I'm not going to create the meshes. Oh, actually, I'll create a mesh for it. I'm going to need 60 of these. Oh, sorry, 80 of these. And it tells you how many it's going to craft. So it's going to craft 80 of each of these. It's going to need 480 flint, 480 diamonds, 720 string, and 480 iron. And then obviously I'm going to need 80 netherite ingots. So I can add netherite to that as well, I suppose. May as well. There we are, netherite scraps and gold ingots. Check in there. If you just click your recipe button and shift click it into the recipe grid, it will do that for you. So if I then go to netherite, I've got 61 of them already. So 1, 2, minus 1. And then I should get 80 of those ready for me to put into our smithing table and turn it into netherite meshes. Alright, so I am going to use the building gadget that I made in between episodes. I believe I talked about these from Direwolf 20. Really useful. I'm going to use that to extend our platform out a bit this way, and then we'll get started on our sifting system. Okay, so our platform's been built. I'm now going to gather all the resources I need to get this made. Okay, so one of the resources I'm going to need is this furnace engine from Create. So this basically creates, hey, made a pun there. This basically, using this you can get more stress units. So the windmill here generates 8,192 units of stress. So that basically means that within this system, if you exceed 8,192 stress units, then your system's going to seize. Each crushing wheel here uses 2,048. So half of our generation for this is going to these two cogwheels because they're going at full speed. An engine does 32,000 odd stress units, so it's much better. Basically the way it works is you need a furnace or a blast furnace. The blast furnace is twice as efficient, so we're going to go for that one, and that will basically, whilst it's smelting, it generates the rotational force. As soon as it stops smelting, it stops. So I'm basically going to create an infinite loop where it smelts down a iron dust into iron. That iron then goes to a crusher, or another crushing wheel, but I'll probably just use a pulverizer from thermal series, back into that system to generate an infinite loop. I could do it with smelting our platinum ore, but I found that in my testing that we weren't generating enough platinum ore to keep it running. But to create that engine itself, we will need our crafting mechanical crafters that we made last episode. So we should only need, well, I think we made them in an episode before actually. We should only need that many. We will need a button as well. I don't have any buttons. That's surprising. And planks. There we are. Because you will need to give it a redstone signal to put it through. Okay, so yeah, make sure they're all pointing the right way. I don't want a button to be in there. I want to actually have it on top. Okay, and so first the recipe is the flywheel. We need brass casing, which is the brass sheet with brass ingots around it. So doop, 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 doop. And then we also need to give it some rotational force. Our system over there is like 97% maxed out. So if I grab these here, these are the speedometer and the stressor meter. You can swap them between whichever one you want, but I like having both on me just in case. If I put it there, you can see we're at 93% network stress. We've only got 512 stress units remaining. But if we just do this, for example, where's those cogs go? See, it's broke. It's seized because it can't go anymore. But if I take away the main causes of our stress, it'll be fine. So I press the button, and it did absolutely nothing. What have I done wrong? Yep, I figured out what I'd done wrong. When I broke the mixer, I'd also broken the thing connecting it. So try that again. There we go. So now we've got the flywheel. Next one we need is our engine itself. I think I will need to create some, what do we call it? I will need to create a, where's my thingy gone? In any case, we'll need to create some sheets. Okay, we got the sheets down in like this, brass, and then I do have a piston somewhere. There it is. Put that in there and then press the button. And there we are, we've got our engine. So I believe that should be the majority of stuff we need. I'm being putting it all in here. So we've got our blast furnace, the flywheel, and the engine. We've got our sieves. We've got some pipes to transfer items through. We need some building blocks, which should be glass. We've got 5 flux points to give energy to these auto clickers. We've got these encased fans because I'm going to use those to blow the items to the side. These encased chain drives to basically, they're going to go next to the fans so they all go the same direction without having to have loads of gears and without having mechanical belts ever and such. But yeah, I believe this should be it. I'm just going to do a quick once over and make sure. Okay, I believe I've got everything I need. All our items are in here. So, first thing I'm going to do is build out the layout of our system. So, I've got these dolomite pillars here, which are made by smelting diorite. And we are going to want to create a little conveyor belt going into our system here. So, we want a funnel there. A shaft here, and we'll put it out to about here. It can always be shortened. So our items are going to land on here and go straight into our system. We then want 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. a 4x4 which does 16 at a time. I did test out with a 5x5, but it was generating too much for our conveyor belt to keep up with. And I know I could do it with some kind of absorption hopper or something like that, but I kind of want to keep this all going with create and have it look cool. So let's get this going. We want our pillars 3, 4, and then have it stopping up here. Okay, I will want these a bit higher. I was just getting a idea of where I wanted it to be. Let's put them up here. And have it go for there. Alright, so basically I'm going to do the first layer, then show you how it would be from the rest of them. We want to have it like this, and then our flux point and our auto clickers. By the way, I'm not sure which mod adds this, but if I was to try and place one of these auto clickers, it's going to put it sideways. But if I look in the direction I want it placed, press K, it will place it in that direction as if I placed it on that block. So you see that little highlighted thing to the right of my cursor? It's darker on the top face, which means I'm placing it on top of the block. So if I put it on the bottom and place it where I'd want, which should be in one of these 4 blocks, where's my breaker tool? That one. It will place it upright. And then to get rid of it, you just press K again and again, and it will break it off. But yeah, this essentially is going to be what it looks like. Then we give it power, set it to number 5. I believe I had it set to before, and that will work fine. We will need to upgrade our power source at a later point, but that's quite easy to do. Okay, and the next thing we want to do is grab our glass. I'll probably need some more glass after this, and have a wall here, because the fans are going to blow it off against this wall for it to land on this conveyor belt. Grab our fans. There we are. 4 of those, and then the encased chain drives will go on the end of these, not like that, like that. There we are. So when this one rotates to the right, all of these will rotate the same direction. It saves you having to go alternate ways, because with these, for example, that would spin to the right, that would spin to the left, that would spin to the right, that would spin to the left, because it alternates the way it's going. This just saves that hassle. And then, I believe that's our first layer. Oh, I chucked my glass in there, didn't I? I don't want to do that. And then we'd have our glass going around like that. There we are. So we're going to do that 4 more times, because we've got to go for gravel, sand, dust, crushed netherack, then crushed endstone. I can always add another floor if I want to, sift soul sand. But I think when I need to sift soul sand, I could probably just do the auto sieve. And I know there is this auto sieve, I did make one, but it's just really slow. And the 9x9, the compressed version, yeah, it's a bit faster, and I know you can feed them, but I just like this system here. I think it's quite creative. Hey, creative. Okay, I'm going to stop making that pun, because I've done it like 4 or 5 times now. Alright, I'm going to build the rest of this stuff up, and I'll be back to you. Okay, so I've completed our building here, which has got all our sieves inside. I haven't put the meshes in just yet, because that's just going to take a time, because I've got 80 of these and they don't stack. Woo. But I put an encased chain drive along the edge here, which will power all of these as well. What we need to do is give it something to turn. So we're going to grab our engine. Oh, wrong way. Put it like so. And then I believe you need your flywheel 1 block away. There we are. So it gives the spokes, pistons, arms. These thingy-majiggies, they can connect. What I can do is chuck some coal and some platinum in it, and then you see it start spinning. So what I'm going to do is quickly get that up to our maximum rotational speed. So at the moment it's at 32. So basically each time we put a smaller one to the side here, it's going to double in speed. So that's 64. And then that would be 128. And then that would be 256. But I need to get this energy to here. What I should have done was probably do it the other direction. So I'm going to do that quickly. Okay, so I set up the other direction and now chuck those in. And there we are. So just confirm. Yeah, that is turning to the left. However, our flanges are pulling rather than pushing. So all we need to do is grab a gearbox which inverts the direction of your rotation. So now that is pushing. So if I go and just grab something to sieve down, and then you can actually, if you tie in the bottle to center of these, you can speed up the crushing speed. There we are. And okay, so we've got our 64 there. Then if I go and chuck this into our auto clicker, and I would obviously need to put these in. Alright, bear with me 1 second. Okay, so I just put the meshes in because I forgot they didn't have any. And then if I chuck our crush netherack into there, you can see it's starting to sieve. I'm going to turn my magnet off quickly. And those should, there we are. And you see it's being popped out by the sieve. I think this might be a bit too slow. Let's turn it to that for now. Once every 10 ticks, that's twice a second. There we are. And it will go into this mechanical belt. I'm just going to double check, make sure it's going at the proper speed. It is. There we are. Oh, no, I would like you back, please. But yeah, that is the concept of it. I am then going to, between episodes, I will put all the rest of these, between clips, sorry, I'll put all the rest of these in, and we'll have to find a way to supply them with their gravel, the sand, the dust and such. But yeah, alright. Let me put all these meshes in, and we'll get back into the crushing of our resources. Alright, so I've got the concept of how I want it done for the siftable items. For this stuff, I've got drawers, and what I plan to do is have a drawer controller with all of these in it again, and then I will pull items out with the item pipe, and the only place that it goes, there are corresponding drawers. Yeah, so I'll have to move this over one and have it go up the sides, then pulled out from the back into the auto clickers. I'm just having a look at our system here. As you can see, our rotational speed at the moment is the max at 256, and our network stress is 32%. So we've got another 22,000 stress units we can do. The crushing wheels, which I'm planning to use, do about 2,048 each, and we'll need 10 of them. So we should just be hitting our target thing. I mean, I can always reduce the speed of this down slightly, so it's only doing the full system there, so that's 256, and then our system here, it doesn't give us a usage, but all of this will obviously use more, and the fans don't actually need to go at full speed. It just makes things a bit more quicker, basically. But yeah, I am going to set up our crafting system. There we are, because I need to make 10 crushing wheels. So it will be 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 5. There we go. Jump up a bit. one more row of 5, and then one row of 3. Then obviously you need to move them all so they point to one direction. So all those are down. That's not right. Let's try that again. There we go. Put you to the left, put you to the left, and all these are going down. Then right, right, and right. Now I should be able to put, no, not like that. Put you like that, and then if I put you down like this, this is only temporary, so it's not very pretty. But here we go. Now, if you remember from 2 episodes ago, I believe, the crushing wheel is made like so. So we're going to need lots of andesite alloys, lots of wood, and some smooth stone. And I will gap that, and I'll be back to you once these are all crafted up, because right now it's going to take a while. Alright, so we've got 10 of these crushing wheels crafted up. 2 of them are going to be used for the netherack and the endstone respectively. What I am going to do quickly, actually, just to double check, is I'm going to place all of these, even though they're not being worked, on here. Alright, sweet. So we do have enough stress units capacity in our system. We are 94% though, so we've only got a little bit left over, but that should be more than fine for what we need. And again, I can always gear down this system here. There we go. Alright, so I'm going to think of a setup to do. So we got each of our systems here crushing the respective items. Alright, I shall be back. Okay, so I'm trying to figure out this thing, and this guy's just spawned. And he's selling beacons, which is really good. I'm just going to buy everything. I've got enough emeralds to do it, so why not? I'm sure it'll come in handy. Anyway, that's all. I spent probably about 3 hours trying to figure this out. My brain's starting to hurt. I might call it a night and come back and... Oh, no, not you. Yeah. It's been one of those evenings. Back in a sec. Okay, so I think I've got a working setup, and other than jumping around, I'm just going to go into creative quickly so I can fly and just show you basically how it works. So you've got all the sets of crushing wheels. I was determined to fit it in the space I had rather than try and expand the platform out, because that would have made sense. Anyways, so we've got a cobblestone generator going up into the straw, which pulls it out onto our conveyor belt line. The benefit of having them horizontal rather than vertical is you don't get the entity, like just be the item floating, which if they build up they can cause lag and everything. This, they will bottleneck themselves, so there wouldn't be any reason for it to fall off the conveyor belt, cause lag or anything like that. Okay, so cobblestone goes through these and turns into gravel. The gravel gets pulled in by this funnel here and put into this drawer. This drawer can pull the gravel out into this pipeline into this gravel compartment here, and I've got one for each of the sievable items. If it's full, the gravel will go past this one into the second set of grinding wheels and turn into sand, and the sand will go into there likewise, like how it does with the gravel, be pulled out and put into the sand compartment. I've also got a secondary funnel here for the clay and flint that this produces, so good resource for clay, which goes straight into our input conveyor belt. If we're full on sand, it will go past and go into here, which will be the dust, and the dust will be in there 2048. We're full. These items on the conveyor belt won't despawn after 5 minutes, so it's fine to keep them there. Likewise, I've got a very similar setup for the nether ores and the end ores. I will be adding these, hooking these up to these, but I've got 18,000 netherack and 78, or almost 80,000 endstone, so it won't have to be done just yet. But that just pulls out the endstone with this filter here, so it only pulls out the endstone, it won't pull out the compressed stuff. and that goes into another drawer, which again, oh, almost forgot about that, is hooked up. And same for the endstone. Now at the moment our system is 97% complete. We've only got 700 odd stress units free, but we are complete here. The only thing that we need to do is automate our blast furnace, because I've had to keep refilling it all with our platinum ore. But yeah, so that is how it goes. It will do. So gravel, for example, gets pulled out of here, goes into our auto clicker here, and that will slowly push it through. And then all our ores, all our items here will drop down onto here. I may slow down the auto clickers to 4. 1, that will save energy, and 2, it will actually slow down our production so our conveyor belts can keep up, which is just a bit of a benefit. I really shouldn't be doing this in creative mode, but yeah, for the sake of showing you. Anyway, we'll jump out of creative mode so I can show you how to automate your blast furnace, because as you can see, it's about to stop. And when it stops, the clickers will obviously keep on going, so we need to make sure that it doesn't ever stop. Okay, so obviously it works the same way as a furnace, where your inputs are from the side, your inputs from the top, your fuel inputs from the side, and the outputs from the bottom. So what we want to do is grab a pulverizer, which I made earlier. It's literally a piston, some flint, copper gears, which is copper and iron nuggets, redstone flux, which is gold and redstone, and a machine frame, which is a tin gear, glass, and an iron. So what we're going to do is put, trying to fly there, put this on top. No, put this on top. There we go. Give it a energy point. So now that's filling up. Then if we put that in, it will turn it into dust, platinum dust. And then what we do is we have it so it outputs to the bottom, and we'll have it input from the back. And then I'll grab a drawer here, put it to that, and that will fill up with our platinum. So I grab a item duct and put it like that. Really simple to do. Double click it to get rid of the it trying to put in the fuel source. And then what I'm going to do, sadly you can't put the RF coils in there. Oh, there we go. And make sure you put auto input and auto output. There we are. And now our system's running again. So this should keep up. I may need to upgrade the pulverizer, and I'll be doing that next episode in any case, because I want to increase our power consumption. But if you basically go onto components, you can got the hardened integral components, reinforced, and resonant. This basically doubles your furnace output, your generator output. This one triples it, and this one quadruples it. So that basically increases it, and you can get augments for it as well. But I think we should be alright for now. We're managing to stay at 10, and we've got 300 here in any case. But yeah, now I've got to get out. I might come and clean this up between episodes, because honestly it took me ages to do this, a lot longer than I thought it would. I will check to see how long our edit is, and if it is got about 5-10 minutes to spare, which I really doubt, I'll get into jetpacks. But if not, I shall see you next time. Bye.